Slow and steady wins the race, but you've got to stay up with the times. We're going to talk about it right here, everybody. Stay tuned. Welcome, everyone, to Your Little Castle Show. Carter Rethwish, a.k.a. the Cardinal Cowboy. I got my hat here. Don't you worry. We've got it. There it is. I'll put that on here in a minute. But we bring some experts in to talk about our little planet, Shea Construction and Design. We've brought in an expert. He's sitting next to me. Welcome, our guest.
Hello. How are you?
Rich Layton. I'm familiar with that name. My buddy, one of my favorite coaches, Russ Layton. Any relation to Russ?
No.
Russ is up in heaven now. He and my dad are up there. They were two of my big baseball mentor people, and my dad, and then Russ, and a whole lot of people that encouraged me with sports. Did you play some sports as a kid?
No. Well, I played back and forth. Hockey was my big thing.
Okay. That's a sport. That's a real sport, right?
My brother was a left-handed pitcher, and that he's the only one that played baseball.
Okay. Well, there we have it. But we're going to talk a little bit about what it is that goes on this little planet for construction and all kinds of the excitement for building what we have here in St. Louis. Shea Construction and Design, LLC. John Shea.
Yep.
Originally started the company.
Original owner. Yeah.
Original owner. With that, a shout out to our sponsors, Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things in your little castle that may have been built or constructed or rehabbed or updated by Shea Construction. And so we love to give a shout out to our sponsors there. But you might be also looking for some long-term investment in something that most people know is tried and true, and that is through gold. And gold has really gone crazy. I don't know if you pay any attention to gold, but it's over $3,700, almost $3,700 an ounce now. Mm-hmm. And that's from $35 an ounce back in the 1970s. But do the math on what that's the same amount. So you can buy a car with the same 2 ounces of or whatever, 10 ounces of gold you had back in the 70s. Now you the same 10 ounces buys. Actually, gold does not depreciate. So check that out. We're gonna highlight some of our companies with the big leagues, BIGG leagues.com. But we've got our guest here, Rich Layton, and so let's put up here on. We've got your guys' Facebook page and a nice, great looking website. So let's start talking about it a little bit. Tell me. Give me a little bit of your background. We'll talk a little bit about the company too. Why did you decide, Rich, to get into this construction business, and what led you here to be a leader in our community in this industry?
Yeah, I really started at a very young age. My uncle and my brother worked for my uncle, and he was in the remodeling business, home remodeling, and at that time, my brother would do some side work and have hired me to help him, and then I followed him with my uncle and into the remodeling industry, and then from there I just went through many different trades. We got into new home building for a while, but then came back to the home remodeling. Home remodeling is so great because what happens is you're trying to adapt to the homeowner's needs,
right?
How you can do that with with the space that you have,
right,
and how you can figure all that out, and then with the other thing is diagnosing the house to make sure, okay, if they want to put an addition on, can it really happen, and how does it happen, and is the foundation stable enough to do it? All the different things, and so the science of going into an existing home and adapting it to the wants and needs of a homeowner, and then looking at the quality of life. They're going to stay there for a while. How do we accommodate that? With all assisting living and everything that's happening nowadays, and so that just intrigued me through all the years, and it was just absolutely wonderful, and that's still where my passion comes from. Is I want to go talk to people, figure it all out, and see what's the best way to accommodate them and help them, for their long-term needs in the home. And that's what happens so much now is people, it's such a serious investment with, remodeling. your home when you get into, wanting to add more space and everything. And it's like, let's do it the right way. And that's so it's from the get-go, it's always about going out and just doing a professional consultation and just letting people know what's all out there and what we have to offer. And it's because so many times it's just a matter of they're so kind of blinded, they got blinders on, that they're only looking at, I want this addition, or I, need this fixed or whatever, and they're not looking at the big picture. And that's where you got to kind of, take a tour of the house, go through it all and listen to their wants and needs, and then help them out.
It's a good point you make that too, because it's true, obviously, that when you have new construction, it's a blank canvas.
Oh.
You can start from scratch. You want this over here, you want this piece over there, you want your washer dryer over there, you want the garage over here. All of that can be outlined and easily adapted to. But when you've got an existing facility, structure, now you've got to make the things fit. And they say, oh, well, I want this and I want that. Now, how do you get those? And we got to make those things work together.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? And
Right.
that's where the creativity comes in, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, that's what happens. And there's so many things you have to consider. Does the space really allow it, to the house? All the different things, and plus, you're not just looking at the stability of whatever, if you're doing a big custom remodel, it's like everything, you have all your basics. You have your HVAC that has to be, looked at. You have all your electrical that has to be looked at. You have all your plumbing that has to be looked at. And then you have to look at the stability of the house and what's the health of the house. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Many, many times I've walked in and talked to homeowners, and I'm like, you got to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to fix this before you ever get here.
Wow.
And they're like, whoa, but it's just reality. It's like, I wouldn't ever try to guide somebody to do something without fixing what is really, that needs to happen. And it's just a matter of, they don't know.
Well, that's
it's
sort
like
of
all of us in our we're experts in our own industry.
Right.
I can't be a doctor.
Good point.
So.
Yeah, well, that's where it comes in with your expertise. That's what we're talking about. You couldn't be a doctor, but you're the you take your expertise and you explain to them, well, this support beam, if you will, must be kept where it's at because it's a what do they call it? A foundational or structural wall that support the ceiling and the roof above you. So you can't move certain things in certain places. Exactly. And you're the one that has to come and explain to them and then design around that.
Right, exactly, because you have bearing points of all your house.
Load bearing wall, right?
Exactly,
Okay.
and so you have to identify those because it happens all the time. I want this wall removed. That wall, we could remove it, but we can only open it up this far, not all the way across the house.
Gotcha. Yeah, and there's just structural stuff, engineering support systems that are in place that have to be managed correctly. Well, it's pretty cool. How long have you been working with Shea now? Is somebody you've been
right at 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
they've kind of brought you in to help transition?
Yes, and John Shea is retired. He's he was the owner of it, and he sold it to Jason Halloran, and which he's been with them for 18 years.
Okay.
And everything. And but John and I have known each other for over 40 years.
Since you guys were kids.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
And,
pretty close.
Yeah, we're both in the industry, growing up together. He's a little bit older than me, but we've worked together. We've tried to compete against each other.
Right.
All those things through the years.
Cool. Well, a little background there that makes it exciting. Tell me a little, as much as you know, you've been in the company now for a long time. What does Shea bring to the table that kind of sets them apart?
The biggest thing that they bring to the table is the true thing of let's figure it out all up front. Let's not, go in and try to sell you a plan that, we only got it halfway baked, is what you want to say. It's a matter of, okay, let's thoroughly go through the steps and find out what are all the needs, what do we all have to do with all the different trades, everything, and then give them the full picture of this is what it's going to cost. This is what the full plan is, and help them with selections, everything. But let's build the plan, and then it's work the plan.
Build the plan and work the plan. Write that one down. We've got our pencil out here, everybody. But you heard it here first.
Yes.
Literally, so yeah, I guess some people might be just, let's wing this thing. Let's start off. We'll tear out a little bit over here, put some more over there, and we'll get to that. But they don't realize those certain components affect other structures. And I guess when systems are working together, you got HVAC and electrical, and all those have to be working together. And you got to keep those in mind when you're planning these things out.
Exactly. And that's the thing, too, is if I don't develop a plan with the homeowners on what they're looking at and how it's all going to work, and then get my trades in, all the most important people from engineers to, the HVAC people, electrician, plumber, and all them, if I don't get them in with a good game plan and then get their advice on what they say, oh, well, let's do it this way or something, we can save some money, or wow, we're going to have to do these things too, then we know those other additional costs before, we are getting into the scope of work and we're building it, and all of a sudden now we have an additional cost because we didn't find that until, there's always discovery that happens.
Yeah, it's called discovery, right?
Yeah.
You must discover some of what's going on before we get involved, so we understand what we're going to deal with.
Because then you're kind of really getting into that point where that discovery really helps, and it helps predict them unforeseen things that, okay, we might get into this situation when we open these walls up, and just where everybody's understands that, and it's setting the expectations.
We're talking about all the key words here, everybody. Setting expectations, discovery, important things you must include whenever you're going to build any kind of a structure. And it's not like you're just saying, hey, I'm taking the trash out here. We're talking about, hey, I need to talk about a simple task, or mowing the lawn. We're talking about, hey, this is a redesign, a construction, and sometimes things have to be remodeled, reconfigured, and there's load-bearing walls and other architectural components that must be accounted for as well.
Absolutely. And that's where we have everybody involved up front. We do a lot of our own designing of the space and everything, but then we do get our architects in right away, to where we understand what's all going on and get their input to it, and everybody becomes the part of the team. And this starts out with our great team that we have over there, but then it goes into, we're bringing all these teammates in to where when we get down to it, we got the big final plan that we know we can work this plan.
And you guys do have a team there. How many people are part of your team now? You said there's 14 of you?
14 of us, yeah. And we have different roles. We have the owner, the consultants, and then we have our designers. We have two great, wonderful ladies that do all our designs up front and everything. They work with us. They look at Jason and I really do the home consulting, but they look at us as, you guys are the builders. We're going to design it, which is great, but we're also bringing all that expertise to it that helps them, that when they say that they want to do this wonderful space, can it really work, or how do we have to do it a little bit different? The different things like that, but it's always a team effort. Everything's a team effort.
It's a team effort, and everybody's got their role, and the design is important with the builders, because those two have to work together to make sure that the build can support the design, and vice versa. Yeah, and they look good, and the whole team works together. Yeah,
and that's what it gives it a really good plan for when we do, execute a construction agreement with homeowners. That then when we start it, we walk it through the rest of our team, which is our project managers, our laborers, and our trades. Everybody, has a part of that role, and everybody knows their role, and that's what really works. And then the other thing too is it's a handoff process, but then it's still everybody in line supports that job to the end.
There you go.
And
It's a team effort. We're going to talk about a little fun team stuff we did in the community here. Check this out, everybody, and enjoy a little bit about us running around in the community doing stuff with the support of our small businesses like Shea Construction and Design, doing good things in the community. Check it out. All right, everybody, we're outside of Patios. This is where all the best baseball fans go. Get a good picture right there of Patios there. I'm paying my camera guy here. Sonny, we agreed to pay you double what we paid you last time, right? All right, we all know how much that is. So a little bit of the excitement we had here the other day, annually we make a trophy, right? This trophy right here is this year's trophy. It does get a little weathered, let's just say, over time. And I happen to have decided, I had a guy come up to me and goes, hey, Cowboy, what's up? I told him I'd come back. I did come back. A lot of times when I get caught up, but that happened to initiate. He goes, what's up with the trophy? I said, well, we do kind of a dedication. It's in memory of my father who raised me on baseball, right? Which is a great thing to be raised on. And I signed it right there. And then as I signed it, I put Braxton, and I put dedicated it, Braxton Rethridge. That's my dad. 38 seconds later, I go walking down. I see a youngster who's got, this is the same hat you were wearing that game? And I go up to him, I'm like, hey, what's your name? We got to do a cheer. Go ahead and hold the trophy for me. And I go, I always get somebody, Carl, what's up, brother? I always get everybody's first name. And I say, what's your first name? What's your first name?
Braxton.
His first name is Braxton, everybody. If you don't believe there's some higher power stuff going on this little planet, the odds of somebody also being the name Braxton 38 seconds after I put my dad's name, who happens to be Braxton, there's something going on. So that brings us all Cardinal fans together. Who is your favorite?
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up! Well, there we have it, everybody. A lot of the fun stuff that we get to do in the community. It is an honor to do that fun stuff. So, but I want to show up here on the wall. We've got the reviews for you guys are actually really impressive. And let me make sure there they are. 1450 It's got to make you feel good to have this kind of response from people for your reviews. Why do you think you've earned so many good reviews from so many people?
Because we work very hard to make sure through the process of the job, sure, things come up, different things and all that, but still we were trying to get to the end result and give ourselves a satisfied customer that really, really enjoys, what we have done for them.
Well, I'm going to read a little bit over here as we've got. I'll put this up on the wall for everybody actually. And Shea Construction remodeled interior on the. I've got it right here. I'll put it up for everybody to see there, on the right. And Jenny Goff, we said that for over 100 years of craftsman style, their design team worked their magic and allowed us to have beautiful first floor bath, walk-in, shower, and master bedroom with a walk-in closet. These guys really seem to. There's some people that are impressed with what you do.
No,
You're kind of used to that by now.
Absolutely. I mean, and the thing about it is because everybody has a passion to do the right thing. No matter what, we're not going to just do something and cover up something to try to get the job done or whatever. It's a matter of doing the right thing. And at times you have to address it with the homeowner, say, okay, these things we're going to have to change because it's going to give you a better end result. And those are just things that happen in the field and all that. And then the other thing is too, you're always working with homeowners that have a busy life. They have, they're back and forth. You have to schedule your time around to help them, when they can meet with you, everything. And then you got to be there to answer their questions at the end of the day when they have time to talk to you. Everybody's ready to rush out the door, get out, and when they get back home, they got everything else going on.
Right.
Everybody has a busy life. And so that's what is a matter of, you have to accommodate the homeowner as much as you have to accommodate the existing conditions of the house to make a job right. And
Well said there. I hadn't heard that one before either. But yeah, literally, like you've got so much that's already pre-existing, and you got homeowners they want it to be the way they want it to be, but you've got to explain to them, here's the way we can formulate this with an existing structure and make
exactly, and help them, and help with convenience too. They're rushing out the door with their kids or whatever. You don't want to have trucks in their way and blocking them in where they can't get out. You have to coordinate all those things, and it's always a matter of setting up expectations and where the people understand, that hey, we all are working here as a team to get this all figured out. And
the
make
team
it
effort
happen.
thing going on again
Yeah.
too. Tell me
It's
though,
a very important thing.
Absolutely. How often is it the case where their dreams don't fit their pocketbook and they want a lot more than what they can afford, and then you have to kind of explain to them what they can afford, how you can still kind of maybe reach some of those dreams?
That expectation it's like anything, almost every time. And it's not a matter, it's a matter
Almost
of,
every time.
yeah, it's a matter of that they didn't think of everything else. They're like, okay, I thought it was going to be this, but then when you explain to them, it's like, okay, all right, let's try to figure out. And if they don't have the budget to get to where it needs to go, then it's a matter of, okay, how do we pull back some scope of work? Do we still give you a good project and everything and fill and get all the wants and needs that you want, but still get it into a budget that works? Them conversations have to happen all the way through the design process and everything. If you're not talking numbers with them, and kind of giving them an expectation, everybody's going to be shocked when you go through all this design process and all of a sudden, boom, you're hitting them with a number that they're ready to pass out with.
Yeah, that's where the sticker shock could kick in, and you
Yes.
go, hey, you realize you asked for a lot more than what your budget allows. Let us show you how we can still accommodate you.
Right, and then at times we have to work all those things out, but it's always like that. It's like all of us. We don't want to pay for what we don't really know. You go out for a first car, you can always think that okay, you kind of know what you're paying for, but you don't until you really want the one you want.
Yeah, no, I want the Corvette, but sometimes you got to settle for the Camaro, right? I bought the used car, so the brand new car saved me $20,000. That might be something to consider.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell me then, what is it you really think that sets you guys apart? What is it that somebody would say, all right, these guys are on the wall. Why should somebody choose you guys?
It's truly our passion for home remodeling and our quality control that we want to produce to give them, a great, project and build them lasting value. Because that's the biggest thing too, is this is an investment.
Yeah, this is part of their most valuable asset they own.
Exactly.
It should increase the value of the house.
Exactly. And it always does increase the value of the house, but at first people always think that remodeling is you're going to get 100% return on it. Well, you won't, and especially people are always very concerned that I'm investing way over than the market is in our area. Okay, that really, all the years that we've been in doing this, we have seen where people have put millions of dollars into a home, in that, and it's not like it's in a great area where they love the community, they love the locations, school areas, the whole deal, and they're committed to the house. That's the biggest thing. When you're investing that kind of money, you're committed to staying in that house for a long term in that. And we're talking like 15, 20 years plus in that. And then you got to look at, okay, what's that return on quality of life for all those years, which comes into that, prorating it.
Right. Yeah, so what the true value of what you're getting, why this work is so of so much significance is because how much it's like anything. When you buy a tool, it costs you $100.
Right.
But if it's helped you to get a job done, they got a $1,000 job done. Every time you used it, that tool became very valuable.
Exactly.
Similar with a house.
And that, so.
This house is allowing for people to have all of what they need sustained so they can go conquer the world themselves.
Yep. And that's where, when people, look at our company and choose us to increase, to do their investment with, it's a matter of protecting that we're, okay, we are truly trying to protect your investment of your home to where it's not a cover up. You have that all the time in home remodeling. It's the biggest fear that people have, or not the fear, that's the biggest thing that homeowners really don't know, that some people come in and just cover up issues that are going on, and then within 5 years you got a bigger problem.
Those issues were never resolved, and
Yeah.
now you've got outlets sticking places that they didn't realize, and plumbing that didn't get adapted,
and things are not working for them.
right.
So it really, yeah, it's consulting and really advising them what's going on.
Time flies when you're having fun, everybody. That's our first half hour. Stay tuned. Rich is going to come back for a second half hour. We're going to record right now, so watch for that one. You can watch all of our shows on our YouTube channel, yourlittlecastle.com. Giddy up.